attention. I do not think that Elden Ring is a bad game. And I know that there's people that are going to see the title of this video and get very angry because we live in an era where everything affects us personally. If somebody doesn't like what we like, it affects us personally. We get very angry about it because we don't understand why this person doesn't love what we love. And that's fine. I enjoy passion, and I know that there's a ton of Souls fans and From Software fans that are very, very passionate about what From Software does. And I'm not here to say that Elden Ring is a bad game, because I don't think it is a bad game, but I have questions about this game, and I kind of just want to go over my thoughts of my time thus far and try to draw some conclusions. And maybe you diehard From Software and you diehard Souls fans can help me, because I feel like there's a disconnect that I'm having with this, and I feel like there's a disconnect that maybe other people out there are having with these games and these types of games that they're afraid to speak up about, because like I said, there's a very passionate fan base for these games. When you look at critic reviews, which we'll get into, it obviously is being heralded as one of the best games of the year. People are saying it's already a game of the year winner. It's one of the best games of the decade. Just look at Metacritic. You know, it's sitting at a 97, but like I said, I have questions. Now, I'm not doing a whole fancy video with this. This is just simply me playing some Elden Ring in the background and me voicing it over. But I've been playing this game for about 6 or 7 hours now, and I still just have questions, because maybe something isn't clicking for me. Maybe I'm missing something huge with this. Now, as far as my history with From Software games, I've played some of them. There's definitely been different levels of enjoyment with them. I played Dark Souls 1 quite a bit. The other Dark Souls games I dabbled in and never got really super far. I played Sekiro on the PlayStation 4, and I played Demon Souls on the PlayStation 5. And I would say, out of all of those games, Demon Souls was definitely my least favorite of all of those games, just because it was brutally difficult. And I feel like Elden Ring does a much better job with the difficulty. I'm going to talk about the positive things that I've experienced thus far in this game, and that's definitely one of the better things, because of the fact that you have these essentially points of grace, which are like checkpoints all throughout the map. So when you die, you don't necessarily have to start from square one. You could simply go back to your point of grace, or you could choose another point of grace, get around the map very easily. Now, as far as the map itself is concerned, I mean, it's massive. This is probably one of the biggest open world games I've ever played. There's definitely some very breathtaking moments in terms of the visuals. I'm playing on the PlayStation 5. I'm playing in performance mode. Obviously, fidelity mode is going to give you some better graphics, but I'm not really a graphics whore. You know, there's some pop-up in the game that I've experienced, but it's nothing that's detracted from the visual style of the game. There's some absolutely breathtaking set pieces. Some of these enemies just look absolutely incredible. And I think from a visual standpoint, it's extremely solid. You know, I haven't experienced any sort of the jankiness in terms of frame rate that a lot of people seem to be having over on the PC version of the game. It's been a very smooth experience for me thus far. They've added in a horse so that you could traverse through the land a lot faster. And I think that's a good thing, because it helps you get across this massive land in the least amount of time, because, you know, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. There's so many nooks and crannies. There's so many little hidden things to find within the game. They've also done things like added in a companion system where you can basically, you know, call upon other companions to come help you in the heat of battle. There's something with like wolf dust where you can acquire different types of enemies that will then help you in battle, like the wolves and stuff. You can call upon them. They'll help you out in the realm of battle. I do feel like the game is more accessible than a lot of the other Souls games are. So I think it does have a lot of positive things going for it, but we have to get to my issues with the game and sort of the disconnect I have with this game. The first thing I want to talk about is the open world aspect, because while it's absolutely massive, I don't feel like it's a game-changing open world. I see a lot of people saying that about this game, you know, just because of the sheer size and scope of it. But if the world itself isn't all that interesting in terms of story and why this happened and how this came to be, does that really make it, the best open world. Like, I think an open world like Skyrim, which is obviously a lot smaller than this, is way more interesting because you get more story elements. You come across these little encampments, you come across these different people who all have little stories to tell, these little towns, these little villages, and you don't really get that in Elden Ring. It's big just to be big because the game doesn't really focus all that much on the story. It's one of those things where you have to kind of seek out the story if you want to enjoy it. You'll come across different NPCs in certain locations. Usually they'll tell you a little something. Maybe they'll want to trade with you. Yeah, their mouths don't match the speaking in the game, which I think is bizarre for a game in 2022. But there are some things to sort of keep it fresh throughout. But I find it odd. I just find it odd that the open world aspect is being heralded so highly when really the other Souls games and games from Software were still open world. There's many different paths that you can go down. It was just more confined a little bit, whereas this has these big open segments of just huge areas, and it's like, it's cool, but there's not a whole lot going on within it in terms of story to get you sort of invested in the world itself. Now, I think my biggest issue with the game and the biggest area of disconnect I'm having, because I can overlook a story element. If you watch one of my videos from a couple days ago, I actually said that I was looking more forward to Elden Ring because of the fact that it seemed more action orientated than Horizon Forbidden West. I've been enjoying Horizon Forbidden West, but holy shit, they just talk and talk and talk and talk, whereas this game looked more action orientated, where I didn't have to worry about some super deep narrative, although I do feel like in retrospect it would have potentially helped this game out a little more. But I was looking forward to the gameplay, and I just feel like the gameplay is way too similar to other games I've played from Software. It still has that sort of clunky interface for inventory management. The controls are still kind of weird. The rolling feels just like the rolling did in the other games. And yes, you can level up in this game. You can level up quite easily because of the aforementioned grace points, where you can just basically, harvest characters or harvest enemies in an area and then save the game and level up and rinse and repeat. But I still feel like this game at its core feels exactly like all the other Souls games, feels like all the other From Software games. Maybe it feels a little bit better because the frame rate is better, but it still feels just way similar, way kind of clunky. Man, I know that word is going to trigger a lot of people. Oh, he said it was a clunky game. What a pussy. He just dies a lot. And it's like, yeah, I do die a lot in this game. But it doesn't bother me that I'm dying. It bothers me that it's just very sporadic. You come across a certain group of enemies and then you're just instantly dead. You don't even have a chance. Archers have just infinite AI and wisdom, but the characters in front of those archers never see you. They're just completely oblivious to you being there. It seems like the AI is kind of all over the place. I love the big boss battles. I think they're super fun, but once again, you get these random difficulty spikes within the battle themselves where one thing just makes your whole battle go to shit. And I know that there's people that love that about this franchise, but with Elden Ring, I guess maybe I was hoping it would be a little bit different. Like, you could call this game Dark Souls 4 or Dark Souls 3.5 and nobody would bat an eye because it's the exact same style of game, just with some things added to it. And like, I get that people love that Souls formula, but I was hoping for something a little bit more different. A little bit more, and maybe that's on me. Maybe that's on me for not following this game every inch of the way. But from everything I saw with this game, it definitely seemed a lot faster paced. It seemed a lot more action orientated. It seemed like you were going to be able to just go faster and be more fluid. And I just don't know. And I think the biggest issue with the game isn't necessarily with the game itself. I think it comes from the gaming press, the gaming media that have talked about this game, because let's be real, these same websites that are giving this game a 10 out of 10, that give it the 97 on Metacritic, we've all seen them complain about games that are not hard as being too hard. But this game that comes along that just kicks your ass, chews you up and spits you out, it gets a complete pass. Nobody really mentions the difficulty because they say, oh, well, it's just a part of the game. It's a part of the franchise. But I was under the impression that Elden Ring was going to be a new game. It almost seems like there's this hive mind mentality that kind of goes back to what I said at the start of the video, where people are afraid to sort of go against the grain, and people are afraid to, you know, talk negatively about a game that everyone in the mass media seems to just love for whatever reason. And I think that's just the most bizarre thing to me. Like, I don't know if it's a fear of getting blacklisted or a fear of just, you know, sticking out amongst the crowd, but I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Like, it's bizarre to me that people get so tribalistic over companies and games, because every game has flaws. Every company has flaws. And I wanted to love Elden Ring. Like, I fully went into this game expecting, you know, a Souls-like experience, but maybe a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, a little bit more interesting to me. And what I got was yet another Souls game. And I know people love it because of that, but I don't know. I was just hoping for more, and maybe this is on me. And like I said, I'm not saying that the game is bad or anything. I was just hoping, maybe expecting something different, because to me, it just feels like another Dark Souls game. It feels like another game in that franchise instead of something new. And I feel like this could have been a point to do something new, to do something different. I mean, I get on Game Freak for recycling the same Pokemon shit over and over again. Isn't it time we sort of start to question From Software and their recycling of the same exact style of game over and over, just with the different name? I don't know. I'm just rambling here. But if you love the game, that's awesome. I'm very happy for you. I'm glad that you're enjoying the game. But I just wanted to talk about it myself because, I mean, I'm going back to Horizon, man. Like, I don't know. It's just, this game just isn't clicking with me, and it's probably just a me thing. And if that's the case, let me know in the comments what I'm missing. Let me know in the comments what's not clicking with me in this game, and maybe that will help me. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel and you don't absolutely hate me for talking somewhat negatively about Elden Ring, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and share the video. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Later.